Got your nuts!
Hello and welcome. My name is Witty G, and I talk about odd, obscure, and nostalgic cartoons on the internet, attempting to find out what made them special to begin with. And today we're talking about that strange Tom Kenny fever dream. The show was created by husband and wife duo Timothy and Julie Cahill. It aired on Cartoon Network alongside the life and times of Juniper Lee and Ben 10. The show focuses on Adam Lyon, who gets transferred from human middle school to the animal education system, where he attends
Charles Darwin Middle School
because of a clerical error with his last name. Whoops. And if you're confused about any of this, the theme song explains it all to you in 30 seconds or less.
I used to go to a human school where everyone was the same. Now I go to an animal school because lion's my last name.
We watch as Adam tries desperately to make life work in this new beastly environment, having to learn how to deal with stalking class.
I think we can all agree that one cannot be too polite when stalking someone.
Staying predator instead of prey.
Well, I hear the bullied look is in this year.
Hey guys, take a look at him.
In dealing with puberty in the animal kingdom.
Write in excruciating detail about your miserable childhoods. Slips! Will you stop that incessant scratching and return to your seat?
But the cartoon also provides commentary on the education system, school budgets, healthcare, bullying, the dangers of parasocial relationships with celebrities, and other normal school things.
You want a piece of this?
Amazon Kevin, you rule so hard!
So a lot of these jokes and concepts kind of went over my head as a kid.
Well, luckily I seem to remember you brought me a book earlier about animal mating rituals. Ah, here it is. The Complete Guide to Mating with Animals. I'm sure there's a lot of good advice in here that'll help. Oh, gross!
The show is littered with humor that only those a little older than their main demographic will get. But the other 75% of the show is stuff like this.
If you buy some candy, I'll leave.
Please don't do that.
Well, they had to keep this demographic watching somehow, I guess. The cartoon has a notorious reputation for being filled to the brim with bottom-of-the-barrel gross-out humor. So despite there being some pretty dark and hilarious jokes in the show, the dependence on this sort of humor really held it back, as well as the occasional dud in the seasons. Like the episode Basic Jake, where we see an unfunny parody of basic cable variety shows. Or the Magic Fish episode, where everyone wants Adam's wish that he earned, even though he doesn't even believe in wishes. Or here in The Two Jakes, where the monkey makes clones of both himself and Adam. Shenanigans ensue. But rewatching the show after all these years, I found some special moments that offer interesting commentary on our world, and tackles a really surprising subject for a kid's cartoon: the ethics of the ownership of exotic pets by celebrities. Well, the criticism is for celebrities and non-famous people. But this episode is clearly directed at Michael Jackson. Context. Michael Jackson, huge pop star. He showcased/created the original choreography for the dance they do in Total Drama. Michael Jackson, along with having sleepovers at his Neverland Ranch, also had a pet chimpanzee, Bubbles. He's in the Leave Me Alone video. Amazing song with this groovy piano riff. But yeah, Bubbles was his ape. He was born in a biomedical laboratory that bred animals for testing. Yikes. And while he was still an infant, he was taken from his mother and given to a Hollywood trainer, Bob Dunn, who gifted him as a pet to Michael Jackson. There are a few conflicting records for how Michael Jackson got the ape, but this one is from a site with a .org in their name. So let's run with it. By 4 years old, this guy was more famous than most of us ever will be. And at the ranch, Michael and Bubbles shared everything. Bubbles had his own crib in the bedroom with Michael, ate candy in the Neverland movie theater, ate at the dining table, and even used MJ's toilet. Some primates tend to fling their shit, so this was a real classy move on Bubbles' part. Fun story, Michael actually had Bubbles in the studio when trying to record There Must Be More to Life Than This with Freddie Mercury, who was pissed that Bubbles was there during a recording session. Mercury actually became so fed up with it that the project was eventually scrapped, and Freddie released the song on his own instead. I think that upon seeing Michael bring this animal into the studio, Freddie had to have cried out, "There must be more to life than this." The owning of this exotic primate was not just fun, games, and forcing Freddie Mercury to say, "Stop me now," as he tried to leave out the recording studio. The separation from Michael had some pretty bad impacts on Bubbles. As he got older, Bubbles became stronger and more violent, so much so that Michael was afraid for the safety of his kid. There have been other cases when exotic pets like this are given access to luxuries, then struggle with rules forcing them to wean off those high-class amenities. And when Bubbles had to be separated from Michael because he had become pugnacious, he was forced to be moved back to the sanctuary, Bob Dunn's California Animal Compound. MJ always maintained ownership of Bubbles even after his death. Michael Jackson's estate has continued to support the annual care costs for Bubbles at the sanctuary. Even with that, Bubbles took the drastic change pretty hard. You try living like a celebrity all your life, then suddenly go back to living as a wild animal and not have a mental break. Allegedly, shortly after arriving at Bob Dunn's sanctuary, Bubbles attempted suicide but was luckily brought to a vet hospital just in time for his life to be saved. So it was clear that Bubbles missed Michael and life without him would be difficult, especially with the King of Pop not returning to visit his favorite chimpanzee very often. When Dunn's sanctuary was closed down in 2004, Bubbles was moved to the Center for Great Apes in the following year, accompanied by a large group of chimpanzees, all from the entertainment world.
Are we finished being depressed yet?
Now Bubbles enjoys his quiet life out of the spotlight where he can focus on what really matters: painting. And apparently, he only gives the canvas back when he is finished. He also isn't some amateur who is limited by the size of the paper, since he doesn't limit his painting to the canvas. I can learn a thing or two. So, a lot of that story is dark, sad, and makes Jane Goodall weep a little. So we can only expect good things when the funny, booty-shaking monkey school show tackles this topic in a 15-minute episode. Oh God. So here's how it goes down.
It's a safe.
The episode opens with Jake and Adam in a limousine, heading to the elusive, luxurious, and expansive ranch called Foreverville Farms. Sound familiar? This is where Dobby Broadway Jr. lives, a one-hit wonder who made enough money to live like this and have a pet monkey live alongside him. While Adam is ecstatic about meeting an idol of his, Jake isn't too excited either way. He doesn't care too much about meeting Dobby and is kind of meh about meeting up with his cousin again. A cousin that is actually driving the limousine. His name is Little Lord Saucy, or Saucy for short, and together he and Dobby rule the ranch. Soon, the duo arrive at the farm and meet the performer, who has this over-the-top personality obviously influenced by Michael Jackson.
Hey diddle diddle, what do I see? 2 little monkeys and a boy just like me. Who wants to see me fly out of this tree? Okay then, here I I love fun.
He is also shorter and uglier than he appears on TV and on vinyl art. Don't worry, this happens to everyone.
It looks better on TV.
Everyone does.
Dobby shows off all the fun attractions on the land, but in the background, we see that all these amusements run on monkey power, with Saucy making life run smoothly for Dobby and his guest, something Adam and Jake don't even notice.
They need to nourish me. They need to nourish me.
All they can see is the facade of this amazing life that Saucy gets to live.
But did you notice that Saucy hasn't been with us all day?
Yes, No, not really.
So the famous monkey comes up with an idea. The two primates agree to trade lives and enjoy the greenery of different grasses.
I'll trade with you right now.
Okay.
This is gonna be super fun. I mean, the next best thing to hanging with a celebrity is hanging with his monkey.
We quickly find out that Saucy doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what school is for, what lockers are, or what freedom is. And you can't blame him too much for not knowing what freedom is. My Liberties Kids video is all about the ever-changing meaning of freedom in different social and historical contexts. Anyway.
Locker? Is that where I'm to live? Oh, it's quite lovely. Much nicer than under the sink.
Saucy Pants, a locker is where you put your books.
Ah. What are books?
It's what's in your backpack.
What's a backpack?
Wow, you have really lived a sheltered life.
What's a life?
Jake's not handling the transition so well. He quickly discovers that Dobby sounds way more manly and angry over the phone.
Hello?
Saucy, where are you?
Who wants to know?
What are you, a Weisenheimer? It's Dobby!
Funny, you sound more manly over the phone.
Everyone does.
Dobby also tells Jake that his job isn't to be the cute sidekick to an eccentric performer. No, he's the help. He's the maid, Dobby's agent, and the caretaker for this one-hit wonder. We see Jake slowly start to psychologically break as he's put under the pressure of Dobby's demands.
I thought Saucy had him made. Turns out, he is the maid.
This is not llama milk!
The milk Sherpa says your bill is past due.
Then what will we use to wash my hair?
Meanwhile, Adam is getting pretty fed up of Saucy's ignorance towards everything.
So who's that large fellow up there?
He's the teacher.
What's he doing?
Teaching.
What's teaching?
Eventually, Adam is told that Saucy's life wasn't all bliss and sunshine, and that the monkey had a lot more work on his schedule when living on the ranch. This comes about when Saucy's default setting is revealed. Serving. That's like the only thing Saucy knows how to do.
How many butlers or maids do you remember seeing around Dobby's place?
You mean?
Dobby hasn't had a hit single in years. The only way he can afford that big celebrity compound is by having cheap monkey labor.
You're his servant?
I was, but now I'm free. Free! What's free mean?
As soon as Adam finds out, he rushes to get his gym partner out of a life of servitude and degradation.
Your gym partner? Though you rarely actually ever see us in gym class together?
Adam and the monkeys confront Dobby about his abusive tactics, and he apologizes.
Yeah, Dobby, it's a present for you!
You shouldn't ought to hit celebrities with water balloons. It isn't nice.
And neither is using monkeys as indentured servants. Wait, what's that mean again?
You've not only abused your monkey, you've sacrificed his education and made him an imbecile!
I never meant to abuse you, little Lord Saucy Pants. I just wanted to have a little monkey pal.
Blaming his actions on his one-hit wonder status and the inability to pay for an actual maid staff. The cartoon even points out how insane it is that he lives in this pseudo amusement park / mansion ranch thing, yet doesn't have enough money to not abuse his pets.
I just wanted to have a little monkey pal, but I haven't worked in years. There's just no way for me to support this high-maintenance celebrity lifestyle unless I have a monkey working for me. It isn't fair. It isn't fair!
So, how is this problem solved? Well, actually, while Jake was his agent, he got Dobby a job on a cruise, doing the one thing Dobby's actually good at.
Daddy, I want a pony! More sequins on that gown! That's my bounce house! Let me wax your knuckles! When we play criminologist, I am the victim!
Well, the other thing. This way, Dobby can make money to afford an actual staff and avoid Adam leaking it to the press how this horrible man treats his animals, which is the fastest way to get canceled. Animal abuse or being weird with minors. Things you shouldn't do, especially if you're in the public eye.
Damn it, he's gonna make me die. Milo!
So Dobby sets off on a world cruise that'll probably keep him away for a couple months. And in the meantime, this mega mansion is all for the boys.
Try to limit your portions at the buffet!
I want to thank you, fellas. Without your help, we couldn't have held on to this place or hired new staff.
It's important that celebrities are able to keep up with their lavish lifestyles.
Especially when we get the run of their estate while they're away.
Fill me up, Saucy!
With pleasure.
The whole point of this episode is to not only take a new spin on the Prince and the Pauper trope, but to poke at the pressures celebrities put on their pets. Sometimes it's not purposeful, like in the situation with Michael Jackson. His stardom and celebrity gave Bubbles such a uniquely rich experience, a lot better than the alternative, which might have been being tested on for pharmaceutical research. But inevitably, this luxurious lifestyle was gonna end due to the nature of exotic pets like chimps, big cats, wolves, or bears. They'll get to the point where they need constant care and aren't suitable for that pet lifestyle. They're not this cute forever. They don't stay Diddy Kong size, you know? So this mental break that Bubbles went through when having to be returned to Dunn's sanctuary was unavoidable. Luckily, Bubbles was able to recover and live longer than the guy who granted him this rich lifestyle. The dude has better healthcare coverage than me. He's also better at art than me. Maybe I'm just jealous. But sadly, other exotic pets probably don't adapt so well to the change. In this episode, we see how this type of trauma is perpetuated by Dobby purposefully. He emotionally and verbally abuses his pets, so much so that they don't know how to be regular animals outside of his care.
What are books? What does wrong mean?
What's teaching?
What's free mean? What's a life? I lived my entire life in this gilded cage. Sometimes I just wish I knew what it was like to live out there in the real world and have friends. Real, non-celebrity friends.
You're not missing a thing, believe me.
He's a monster. Once again, the show points out some of the horrific dynamics humans impose on wildlife for entertainment or a show of domination. It's done this before with the character Amazon Kevin, a wildlife filmmaker who bullies animals for fun, prestige, money, and likes on Instagram.
Ooh, see how he's making those weird head movements? This one's about to attack!
He's like an evil Steve Irwin. Yeah, the cartoon feels very much so anti-exotic pets and the degradation of wildlife in Hollywood productions.
Please don't do that.
But humans get degraded in Hollywood on the regular, so Hollywood has a long way to go before it's ethical for everyone.
Man,
I feel that one of the show's big lessons is that animals aren't too different than us. Like, they go to school, they have feelings and reactions, and they deal with awkward phases of life too.
Change is an expected and important part of our lives in the animal kingdom. We all do it. It's only natural.
And the more we learn to understand and empathize with our animal brethren, the better world we can create. Or something. There's something about symbiosis in here, I'm sure.
No, not really.
Anyway, if you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode and its message, as well as the story of Bubbles. Be happy, be healthy, and be kind to your pets. I've been Witty G, and remember, if you own an exotic pet, you're a little bit of a piece of shit. I'll see you later.
Got your nuts!